Breaking news this morning, MtGox Bitcoin is on the move, folks, and some of it may have got stuck. Did the U.S. government just fat finger a $300 million Bitcoin transaction? This is Around the Blockchain. All right, thank you for joining, everybody. We have a great lineup. We're just going to go right into it, so please hit that like button. Coming from the same beach that Mark Zuckerberg is surfing at, we have Piano Matty B. Piano, I've never seen you more tan.
Well, I'm just up here in Camp Crystal Lake getting all the new campers ready for a couple of weeks of hijinks and calamity. Hopefully, I run the pickleball from 2 to 4 every afternoon, so... How are you?
All right. I'm doing well. Say hey to my buddy Jason over there. Also, we have Crypto Keeper holding it down. You can catch him at Debate Crypto OG. Debate Crypto OG. How are you doing?
I am living the dream, brother. Glad to be here, ready to have some fun with the talks today. I'm loving the topics.
All right, and then we got the most politically activated influencer I know. I'm just kidding, of course. That is Cowboys of Crypto, because you know what? He don't take no flack. He can definitely cut the mustard. Cowboys of Crypto, how are you doing today?
Well, I can't dance, could never sing, and it's too wet to plow, but I'm ready for ATB.
You know what? I'd still follow your TikTok. All right, well, let's get right into the Silk Road, the MtGox Bitcoin. We know there's a huge hack discovered in 2014. It was ongoing for a couple years, though. But Bitcoin, it landed in basically the hands of the U.S. government. They got it from the guy James Zong. It was 41,000 Bitcoin have yet to be sold. A little over $1.25 billion. So the U.S. government, huge holder, a large amount of Bitcoin. Well, in March, they moved about 10,000 Bitcoin. It was about $21,000 at the time. And now they're about to move another 10,000 Bitcoin. Actually, they did start moving it, but then they didn't pay a high enough transaction fee. It actually got stuck for several blocks there. Altogether, $302 million worth of Bitcoin is being moved by the Department of Justice. During the last sell-off, they actually used a decent amount of fees there. I'm trying to find their fees. Last time they spent $215,000 in fees. The one Bitcoin transaction that got stuck for a long time, they only spent 56 cents. So actually maybe got even lucky that it was picked up, in short of time that it was. But, I'm looking at, what happened last time. We have another 10,000 Bitcoin, Piano. Could be even less volume at the moment. Maybe it's going to be a bigger dump. Will it dump? What are your thoughts about this? Last time, shortly after moving it, it hit Coinbase. It hit the market. If it hits the market, is Bitcoin going back into the 20s?
I don't think the 20s, but I mean, I love the fact that they're going to sue Coinbase. But hold on a second. We got to dump these Bitcoins on to Coinbase. So we'll use Coinbase, but make no mistake, we're still going to sue their Adirondacks once this is done for everything they're worth. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Is Coinbase a legit company, or are they illegitimate company based on the government? And when I hear the government has it, that just means BlackRock has a bunch, because you have BlackRock here, right? And you have the government, this little simp and cuck of the government. So they just basically give everything to BlackRock anyway. So that's what up here in Crystal Lake, we talk about it by the bonfire. That's what we think.
All right, Piano Matty B, just a quick follow-up, totally unrelated. What did you think of Justin's pancake flipping?
Well, it was all the rage with there was all these videos of with his hand or something. He had something wrong with his hand, and it almost looked like an alien's hand was coming. Everyone was like, "What's up with his hand?" But you know what? Well, I guess you're bringing him up because I said the word simp and cuck, right? And there's no bigger simp and cuck than Justin Trudeau. Is that why?
Well, after that comment, I feel a little pancake there. So no comment. All right. Well, I was just wondering, if you haven't seen Justin Trudeau flip a pancake, he just did it, I think, a day or two ago. It's worth watching. It's about 5 seconds.
Look his hand. Look at his hand.
I'm going to rewatch it now and just look at his hand. It's very illuminating. Now, Crypto Keeper, let's create a scenario here. So last time they spent $215K moving the Bitcoin. Probably got chewed out, right? You got the nerd. You got the guy who probably looks like BJ here. You got the nerdy guy in the basement. He's the one in control. The senior management comes. You spend how much in Bitcoin transaction fees? Well, you better spend less next time. Then they had a fee that spent only 56 cents. Got stuck there for a short time. What do you think the conversations were like with the senior management and then the guy with the long hair? What did that look like?
I think the conversations are probably what they always are within the government, confused. I think that they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What is this Bitcoin thing? How do we move it into fiat? Because fiat's what we want to, promote and push on to the people, ultimately pushing us into a CBDC. But I can't believe that at the highest levels of our government, we're going to seize Bitcoin funds from someone who basically created a protocol for people to sell whatever it is that they wanted to sell, whether it's nefarious or not. And so we seize it back, and then we don't know what to do with it. It absolutely amazes me. It's like, oh, we have all of this funding. We have all of this ability to use this for whatever they want to use it for, and have no game plan on the front side of, well, how do we actually do it? So I think somebody needs to figure out, get their head out of their ass, probably just like Justin Trudeau as well. I love that comment by Piano Matty B, extra points there, and figure out what the heck is going on, because there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to move these funds. That is one of the more simplified actions in Bitcoin.
I don't know. Have you used a Bitcoin wallet lately? We're kidding. We're kidding. We like Bitcoin and its software capabilities. They have the best dApps, better than Ethereum. Now, Cowboys of Crypto, we're talking about politics before the show. I don't know if I would vote for RFK. I don't know if I would vote for Vivek. I do know I would vote for Cowboys of Crypto. I'd be out there canvassing. I'd be picking up the phones. I'd be calling people. I'd be doing fundraisers for you. Well, let's say you are the president. You are the DOJ official. You are Gary Gensler. You're everything. You are the dictator of the U.S. What do you do with the over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin? Do you dump it and, hey, maybe fix some bridges? Do you do a stimmy airdrop for all the, citizens? Hey, everybody gets $10 of Bitcoin. Or do you just hodl it forever?
If I'm the president, I use it to barter with other countries like South Arabia, South America, South Sudan. I'm all talking to you. If I'm his son, well, I use it to buy pounds of sugar cane. Here, China and Ukraine has some. If I'm a congressperson, I slowly sell it off to line my own pockets for the rest of my life as normal.
Okay.
If I'm me, I tithe. I sell enough to treat my family right. I buy my meme coins. I buy a new hat. I buy a new Dodge, lift it to the sky, and finally get that guac at Chipotle. Hold the rest.
All right. What do you think about a stimmy airdrop? Should they airdrop everybody? Hey, make a Bitcoin wallet. We'll give you a percentage.
Yeah, if they want to buy votes, there's probably easier ways to buy votes.
Okay.
If you want to buy the votes of the Democrats, the Republicans, or whatever, yeah, stimmy airdrop whatever favorite party you have. Let's stimmy airdrop anyone. Let's give them a wallet and let's duplicate their voting power and let's just do it again.
Just quick, or go ahead.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to say nothing to get us demonetized, but I think there are at least 3 theories of why they would sell and not just hold. Okay. The reason why is if you're the government, you're deciding whether or not you're selling or holding. And I think the number one thing is they just don't believe in Bitcoin. They don't believe in crypto, just like Keeper said, is like, we don't know what this thing is. But number 2, and I think this is more pertinent, is that they are selling to themselves. Okay. And I think that's what's happening. I think right now, if they're selling it out, they know who the sellers are. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the line over there, someone's lining their pockets, and all those things might just be happening.
All right. And maybe it rhymes with slack sock. All right. Quick back of the napkin math. I was looking at $1.27 billion worth of Bitcoin. We have roughly 335 million Americans. That means we're all going to get like $3.90 worth of Bitcoin. Why not? Why not do that? All right. Anyways, let's move on. Talk about Russian CBDC. Would you claim the $4 in Bitcoin? Russian CBDC, the digital ruble, is one step closer to reality. Just got passed by the first phase of the Russian parliament. Now advances to the Russia upper chamber, which I didn't know was a thing. And then after that, it makes its way to Putin's desk. The central bank will be the main operator. It's not going to be some sort of private consortium. Looks like the central bank is retaining the power here. And according to the Bank of Russia, it's to serve as a payment and transfer method. So you won't be able to do a savings account, but you can transfer for free, and payments are free for individuals. So retail, everything is free. But for merchants, for businesses, you're going to have to pay a 0.3% payment amount for all the corporate clients there. So maybe, a little bit of a fee, but compared to some maybe credit cards, not that much. Analysts are expecting retailers to profit an extra $1 billion worth of fees that they're going to be saving. So merchants in Russia saving over $1 billion a year. The CBD rollout costs Russian banks, they're going to miss out on about $3.5 billion in fees that they're wanting to get. So, oh man, the bankers are going to make less money, but the small business owners, looks like they're going to save some fees. Probably going to be a good thing here. Now, Piano Matty B, I did a little research. I was looking into Visa, MasterCard. I've talked to these people before. I've done the negotiations. It's usually around 1% to 3% for a credit card transaction fee. Well, they're only charging 1/3 of 1%. What do you make of this huge disparity? Is everything going to be a CBDC soon?
Well, first off, I don't really buy the fact that retail's going to come out the winner, because retail never comes out the winner. In fact, they always come out the loser. And then you have these big institutions like the Visa, MasterCard. You think they're just going to sit back and see all that money go somewhere else? No, what I think's happening is that they're kind of amalgamating in the back. They're going to take their piece outside from the central bank, but the big players never lose. And right now they're trying to frame it like they're going to lose. And I guarantee you, the only people that will lose, I guarantee you, is us.
All right. That's probably a fairly accurate and not that bold prediction. You put it that way. Dang it. We don't ever win, do we? So you know what? Maybe
Never.
Everything's a lie here. Maybe that 0.3%, maybe there's going to be some strings attached, like a little giving up of all your data and privacy. Now, Crypto Keeper, looks like the central bank has been buying significant amounts of gold. Russia's central bank has increased their reserves, I think, 18% in the last 12 months. So I want to throw a question to you. In the next decade, what are the odds that central bank is going to add some Bitcoin to the balance sheet?
In the next decade, I think they're going to have to. Yeah, I mean, I think that they will have to, short of them implementing policies to just straight up try to restrict, which we've seen what that's done with China. China's tried to, ban Bitcoin, put it back, ban Bitcoin, put it back, because they ultimately realize, I think, this train is not going to stop. And so I think the real question is, how do they actually use that to their advantage? How do they put it out to people? How do they utilize it and still get whatever kind of backdoor policies and the different things that they're trying to do for themselves while utilizing a decentralized system like Bitcoin? I think that's really what it comes down to. They need to sit down and say, hey, what do we do with this? How can we best utilize it? Like I said, the train's not going to stop. So since we know that, okay, we're got to jump on board. Where do we jump on board? At what point? How do we ultimately utilize this and make the best of what is a situation that's at hand?
Yeah, the best. All right, well, let's go over to Cowboys here. I got a fun question for you, and I got a real question for you. The fun question, 5-year hold. What would you rather hold, a Russian ruble, digital, or a NATO buck? Real question, though, do you see these Russian rubles popping up on exchanges anytime soon? A lot of people seeing their gold, looking at their inflation rate, maybe relative to their own country's inflation rate. Am I going to be able to, get this on MetaMask, maybe even Coinbase or Binance in the future?
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking towards the NATO buck because it's backed by the US dollar. Okay, so I'm going to go there. I don't want to bet against the United States. However, if we're looking at it being used in crypto and Web3, yeah, I think so. It's gonna go to MetaMask. It's gonna go all this DeFi stuff. It's gonna go to these protocols. Why? Because we're trading and there's value and there's money in Pepe 2 and Quack Coin, and they're being used as collateral and trade. And so they're gonna, Web3 is gonna move wherever people are using money and have value in money. So that wave, I think, is gonna be, it's an eventuality, right? It's all gonna have adoption. You're looking at mass adoption here, especially if the government's pushing it. But we should know that this has been in the works for years now. There's interviews going back 2, 3, 4 years of central bank chiefs like being interviewed about, okay, yeah, we've already tested it. Just 4 months ago, they had the first kind of transfers, and just a few months ago, also April, they had the first real people transferring. So this is all in the works. We're not getting away from this. The problem with this is that, of course, it's a CBDC, right? they will have full control over our pockets. They'll have full control of money. And this is ultimately like the people's choice. We have to know, like, hey, what are they doing here? They're going to be able to choose what political aisle. They're going to be able to manipulate markets. If they want to earn some, votes, they're going to inflate the economy when they can. And if they don't have full control of it, then they lose their wars. They lose their power and position in the world, and they lose out. So they're incentivized to have full control. And we just have to go into with that. And that's where they're going to push us into. So yes, DeFi and Web3 will be adopting however use cases. I don't know. I'm not a genius how that's all going to shake out. But yeah, I assume that everyone's going to be adopting this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, you said central bank heads. I always like to pull up the Bank of International Settlements head, Augustin Carstens. He's almost like a cartoon villain. When you see the political cartoons from 1920, there's like, yeah, things poured into a factory, then the factory has a spigot and like pigs are like just sucking off the labors. That didn't sound right. I'm just going to move on here. All right. Let's talk about the world's dumbest hacker. I do have a picture. I don't know if we could share it though. He does look like I don't know, just an evil guy from a Bugs Bunny cartoon. I guess. But let's keep it on that for 1 second. No, keep it on that. Can I cross a border with crypto? Hacker turned to Google after a $9 million DeFi raid. New York authorities, of course, the SDNY, they indicted a hacker. Soon $9 million. It looks like it was a Crema Finance on Solana. It hasn't been confirmed, but it matches up with the dates from this indictment. It appears after stealing the funds, the software engineer then tried to give back 8 million of the 9.5 million that he stole, saying, "Hey, I'm going to keep 1.5 million. Just I'm doing you a favor. I'm showing you your vulnerability. So you're welcome." Well, they didn't like that. They went to the FBI instead. Well, then he, I guess, started panicking. He started Googling ways of getting away with the crime. Some searches include, this is real, can I cross the border with crypto? DeFi hacks FBI. Can you buy a citizenship? And then whether or not the VPN will give away his location. So former software engineer, lead senior engineer, according to his LinkedIn, but not looking like the most sophisticated hacker today, at least according to these court indictments. Now, Piano Matty B, this is it's a tough question here because, maybe the numbers aren't right, but I just want to talk about the gist of what's happening here. He stole 9.5 million and he wanted to keep some for himself. Is there anything wrong with finding an exploit and just maybe keeping a little finder's fee? What do you think?
Well, not at all. But I mean, here's the thing. What upsets me most about this story is all those questions he asked, I've asked Google, right? So am I on this list now? I've asked, how can I get out of this country with Bitcoin? I've asked how to get another passport, all on this Google thing. So I'm a little worried now. I do have a VPN, but did he use a VPN, DZ, or no? Do you know that?
Yeah, he did use a VPN. VPNs always, have governmental agency backdoors. Almost, unless like the super secret one that Mind Your Biz won't tell you. But yeah, more they have the backdoor. Hey, is that
that's even worse. I wanted to add one more thing about the CBDC. I wanted to get real here with everybody. And the reason why, no matter how strong we are united, why this is going to come just like that, as soon as they drop it, everyone's going to adopt it, is that whoever has government dole coming in the weekly or the monthly are just going to have to accept it. So if you're on a pension, guess what? Your pension's going to be in a CBDC. If you're on welfare, guess what? It's on a CBDC. And all these newcomers coming into the country that are incentivized with free money, well how do you think they're going to pay them? Cold hard cash or CBDC? You guessed it, DZ. It's the CBDC.
It is the CBDC. One extra point there. And for having my clone. Sorry.
I did, yeah. You top G. You guys are both top Gs in my books.
All right. Well, Crypto Keeper, last time I asked Cowboys to play, pretend. Today it is your turn and now it's your turn. Pretend you are a criminal. Now, we are not condoning criminal activity. We are not condoning. This is just a fun thought experiment. Think of a Google Bard little chat hack that we're doing right here. What are one or two things a hacker should never do? Let's say you're in issues. What are the top one or two things you should avoid so you don't end up in this man's situation?
Well, I think I alluded to this earlier in the case of the government, but I think the first thing you do is you don't steal $9 million without a freaking game plan, right? So if you know, in the old days, they would come in and rob a bank, and the people that actually got away with it were the people that spent you've seen the movies, right? They spend 6, 8, 10, 12 months planning for this. This sounds like this kid sat down, used some of his hacker methods, figured out that there was an exploit, stole the money, and then said, oh shit, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to be in trouble. So he had no game plan going into it. He couldn't have, because of even just the Google searches that happened right after it. He's scrambling. He's trying to figure out. So I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, if you're going to go after what effectively he kind of pivoted to, maybe, I don't know how this went down, but it almost seems like he pivoted to a bug bounty, which there's a lot of companies that will offer these bug bounties. And so we set the precedent, or some of these companies have set the precedent that, hey, if you find an exploit, we're going to give you a percentage of it. And a lot of hackers have gotten away with stealing the money on the front end and then offering a bunch of it back for a quote unquote bug bounty. I think the second thing that you do, and this has to do with the game plan as well, if you're going to do that at this point in the game, I think you need to understand the vulnerability like that you're putting on yourself. Reach out to them and say, hey, I think I found something. I'm not going to give you the information, but I think I found something. Are you willing to work something out and work out a freaking deal? Why can it not be above board? Because if you're going to steal 9 mil with no game plan, then you better be prepared to go to prison. Whereas, hey, maybe you talk to them, maybe they offer you a nice little bit of money, you do it all on the up and up, and then you actually get to keep the freaking money.
Yeah, I would, in this imaginary scenario, I would say, yeah, hey, I have all your funds. You have to get your protocol secure before I send it back. You do have a bug bounty, don't you?
Yes.
And I would keep nodding, and they would be like, fuck, you guys are 9 million. Yeah, we have one. Yep. I'm like, you meant to add a 0, didn't you? All right, that's what I would say. That's lawyers. Is that good? All right. No. We're just kidding. Of course, these are all thought experiments. Now, Cowboys of Crypto. This is, maybe a tough subject, because I could see real reasons why government agencies would have these backdoors, these VPNs. There's child traffickers, there's fentanyl dealers literally selling by the metric ton, invariably going to kill thousands. There's hitmen, there's really bad actors out in the field. But, at the end of the day, we're promised privacy as American citizens. So should government agencies have a backdoor at a VPN, even with a judge's request?
Keeper said, you shouldn't steal millions without a game plan. However, the government does it every day.
Ooh, good point.
Here's the thing.
Ew.
When someone steals from you, you find out, you don't forget. That sticks in your throat like a hair on a biscuit. And I, for one, don't like it. I'm tired of it. And for some of us who think that, the government has, gives us privacy. Okay, we just now know that VPNs have this government backdoor or whatever. Anyone who has kids will tell you the same. We lie to our kids. Okay? We do all the time. Okay. You want that toy? Sorry, that's display only. You want to eat that ice cream? Sorry, your stomach is going to explode before dinner. You want to watch Paw Patrol? Then pay the cable bill. Okay. We lie to our kids all the time, and we are constantly being lied to. We just have to go into it with the mentality that we are being lied to. We don't have the privacy that we think we do. And once we have that expectation shattered, now we could start operating and find the backdoor for the government. Okay. Now we start finding our own backdoor. So no, I'm not going to say that they should develop a backdoor, because I believe in restricted government. Okay. There are all these other issues, with these child traffickers and all that kind of stuff. I'm not smart enough, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not smart enough to figure it all out. But I do know this. I feel like they have overstepped and overreached in many places that they don't need to. Okay, let's at least start there. Can we start with not the outside, the extremes? Let's start with the core. That the government should be a servant of the people, not the people slaves to the government. So one thing I need to pull out from this is that crypto is not safe. Okay, we have to take responsibility for our own money. Like you could, when you moved out of your house, you learned how to cook your own food. You know how to pump your own gas, and you know how to wash your own panties. But this is not different. Okay, you got to put on your big boy pants. Okay, you got to memorize your seed phrase. You got to split into different wallets. You got to have it written down, and don't entrust third-party security. If you're grown enough to play in crypto, then you're grown enough to not complain about it and keeping it safe. And if that ain't a fact, your mom's a possum.
All right. And always ended with a good saying. We also have people in the chat throwing out some of your sayings. Hair on a biscuit is worse than a snake in the boot. We do have X Factor. The backdoor prevention item is your Second Amendment. Any details, reasons on why. There's also another backdoor prevention item. Owen, which soap on a rope. Isn't that what you were telling me about? That's also another backdoor prevention. Anyways, should not even go there, but I did because I'm DZ and I don't know when to shut up. But follow up, last question, Piano Matty B, can you confirm, do you lie to your kids?
All the time. But see, I agree with the Cowboys of Crypto. You got to make these young kids tough. I mean, they're weak. And I look at it as the opportunity of a lifetime for my child, because it's like I can make Gretzky and put him on the ice with a bunch of people who can't skate. So as long as I just hammer him with skills, by the time he's a teen, he's going to absolutely dominate in civilization, because they are so weak. And if it takes a lie every now and then to get him motivated, hey, what you got to do.
Yeah, and if you can't dominate in sports, there's a little hack that will then allow you to go from 68th to first place in the country. We do have a super chat. Crypto Seth, decentralized VPNs exist. Everything is centralized to a degree. Correct. Crypto is the least centralized option. So thank you for that, Crypto Seth, with the support there. But that is all we have time for. And Cowboys of Crypto, his future's so bright, so he has the shades. Feel free, leave us with some parting blades of thought.
I made this up all by myself. I have a question to ask. What is wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. Think the whole world is addicted to the drama, only attracted to things that bring the trauma. Because overseas, yeah, we got terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living. In the USA, it's the CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. And to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Yes. Madness is what you demonstrate. And that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you got to have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and let it meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
Woo! No hesitate, but that is something to scrape off your plate. Another super chat from Seth. So thank you, Seth. Panel of comedians. Thanks for all. Hey, he's got at least a chortle and one exhale from nostrils. That was kind of strong. But guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you go down the description. Check out everybody's content. They're always putting out really great stuff. Piano Matty B, literally the best thumbs in the business. Crypto Keeper. You want to survive where this world might be heading, he is going to be one of your top sources for any of this information. And Cowboys of Crypto, the best crypto metaphors, period. That's all we got. Till next time. Easy out.